Hey everybody, come submit your games to me. I'm going to do an analysis if you want to get your game analyzed by me, Nurse Mike, a 2100 rated player, and learn some tips, then submit them to me at Nurse Mike Plays Chess on my Lichess profile, or just comment on YouTube, just something, let me know. Anyway, we're going to look at a game rated around the 1350 range and see if there's anything we can learn from these players. Let's start us off with an D4, spicy for some 1400s, eh? D4, okay. Are we gonna have a King's Indian? Is that so? You could sometimes see a Queen's Gambit happening here for those of you who've been watching the show. The idea being that, so that if black takes, then this pawn can push. The bishop recaptures. You get kind of a nice position at some point. Obviously with that, you might not be sure what to do with the bishop, so you might want to think about developing that beforehand. I'm not too sure, but the Queen's Gambit theory is not really a line I play, so but that's the general idea. Okay, so we might have a London here. In fact, this is almost definitely going to be a London. So, white, you should pull your bishop back. Don't go for the trade. Trade on your terms. Remember, if you're being basically forced to trade, think about how you can do a trade that is advantageous to you. I mean, you could do that and then break their pawn structure, but you're just giving them a pile of pawns to control the middle with. Alternatively, if you take here, you can recapture and open up your rook. Things you might want to think about. Or just defend. So, not the worst thing in the world, because if you get this trade, your queen will get deployed. Downside being that it becomes a target. Usually the opening principles are, if you're not familiar with them, there's opening principles you want to basically follow to win your game of chess, and one of them is don't bring out your queen early. I think it was Nimzovich that came up with that one. Okay, so secondary attack. I mean, you can do just fine with tempo here. You could do this. More likely you want to do something like that. Yeah. Probably this. This is probably your strongest move here. This is a bit of a tricky one, because if they capture with the bishop... Actually, no, it's not tricky at all, because they can just take that way. Otherwise, I'd say if they take with the bishop, you could take the queen, they could take your queen, you could take with this knight, and you get the development. But really, you should probably just do this. It's going to get your bishop out anyway. So both of you have put your queens out too early. Okay. Don't hate it. This would have challenged the queen and would have taken back the initiative. And, I mean, you do get a piece out, so that's good. Generally, you want to bring your knights a little closer to the center to control your main 4 squares there, but... More testing move might have been just to take with the queen and see if they want to do a trade, and then bringing your knight back into the middle. You're gaining control over that square. And then you'd be able to push this, and then do whatever you wanted, basically. But okay. This is where you should look to see if you're starting to be able to trap a queen, because that is the queen's primary escape route. Just block this way, block this way, block this way. That's when you, well, yeah, that way. This way, really they have that square. They can go there, they can go there. This square is safe. That is what they have. So, for example, something like this, they would have to move to one of those 2 squares. Don't see a direct way to force the queen capture, but I mean, another good move might be to just go back and then just take that pawn. Chances are it'll move forward, and then you'll just be able to bring it back. Ooh. Or even better, just pull your queen out. Yeah, so I would do this. If they push, pull your queen out. They can't move that pawn. And take that, or else they lose their queen, so the queen may have to move. You can bring your knight back out and around to wherever you want. Bit of a dangerous way to play. Okay, that's not bad. Get the bishop out. Okay, this is a lost queen. Yeah. So remember I said they had that square and that square to go to. So here's the problem. The knight controls this and this. The pawns make sure that all of this, and the bishop of course is also helping with that, is gone, right? So the queen can go there, but not if the bishop comes out. Then it's gonna weep, and you're toast. There's no squares for the queen. Yep, so beautiful queen trap. I'm gonna just applaud white in this position. I don't know if they like planned this or saw this in advance to try to bait it, but mint. So for black, I would almost try and maybe make a counterplay, haven't had it. I don't really see it because, see, the problem. This is the problem with bringing your queens out early. First, they get attacked right away, and you're forced to make a bunch of moves that prevent you from developing pieces. Second, you're gonna caught in a position like this. This would be a lot easier to deal with if you had a knight out here, and you could counterattack, right? Force them to deflect their queen somewhere, not there, right? And then you could maybe wiggle out of this somehow. Maybe try and, I don't know. I don't know what exactly it is you'd be able to do, but it'd be a lot easier if you had pieces playing the game. Okay. So just trying to defend the queen, taking on your terms. I mean, at this point, you gotta get something for the queen. So, I mean, yeah, you're gonna get the bishop, or the knight, I guess. Yeah. That's, yeah. So that might have been a miscalculation. If you'd taken the bishop here, you would not have lost the pawn. So, I mean, at the point is now you're down a queen. So, it's a little bit more of a defensive play here. And now your knight is hanging. So, personally, I would try and bring it to the center with a tempo, because it's hanging. Queen might do something like this to just continue to apply pressure, but then you can swing the rook in, try and scare out the queen, get the bishop into the game somehow, castle long, and just start trying to beat the crap out of their pieces if you can. Okay. So, you're giving up your right to castle. I mean, gives you better center control, I guess, but you're also going to lose... I didn't even see that before. You're going to lose this pawn. So, again, this move would have defended that. Okay, so they opt not to go for it. Personally, I would have, if I was white, I would have tried to go for this and then use that to figure out a way to deflect the king. Because if you can get him in the middle, you can just start taking the bishop, and then the bishop can take the pawn, and the rook, and then the other knight. And you just can do a lot of damage from that square. Okay, black sees it. Potentially, I don't know, this may have been just an accidental defense. That sometimes happens, where you just accidentally successfully defend something. Like this would have done that. And this would have counterattacked it. In which case, you can just take the queen. So, okay. White's worried about the knight coming here, presumably because they're worried about the check and grab the rook. Your queen up, buddy. Don't play these slow moves. Don't play defensive. Like, just go balls to the walls. Just win this game, okay? Okay. So, black is trying to defend this so that they can move their knight? So the problem is I don't see where their knight's going to go from here. Like, they can't go here. They can't go here. This is still controlled by the queen. And this is just back to where you started. So, I don't know what your game plan is. Maybe you want to do this, and then try and do this, and then get to taken. But then, I don't know. That's, yeah. So it seems like black is kind of struggling to find an idea here. And it's, again, because they're slow in getting their pieces out. Like this bishop can't get out. If this bishop can't get out, this rook can't get out. So not only are they playing down a queen, they're playing down a bishop and a rook. Right? Versus white actually has pieces involved with the game. They've got this, this, and this, and the rooks are coming soon. So it's really two knights versus everything white has. Okay, pinning the knight. So now the threat is likely that a pawn will come up and just take that knight because it cannot move while it's pinned to the king. So you are kind of faced with a problem here as to, because you can't move your king or else you lose the knight. So you have to deal with the queen. I'm going to say your best move here is there. You might say, well, Mike, I can't. This knight can't recapture because it's pinned. Well, you got to look at it. Once the queen moves, it's no longer pinned, so you would be able to recapture, and then maybe you'd be in a better situation. You might, like, you'd still be down a pawn and an exchange, but you could maybe have some drawing chances there. Maybe you get lucky and find some winning chances. Okay, good move. I like it. This pawn, by the way, is still defended by the knight. Keep an eye on that. So that's a free bishop. Okay, this looks free, but it is not. Okay, so you have tempo moves. You might even have, what do you have here? You could do something like this too. It's not always best to just target the queen, but sometimes just do it just to get your pieces out. Okay, taking some free pawns. I mean, you're trying to win back material, and that frees up a square for the knight. I'm not unhappy with it. Okay, this is coming for your knight. Just be aware of that. And then once the knight moves, He's coming for your queen. Or for this pawn. I am so sorry. The queen is coming for the pawn. So, okay. Problem with this is that he's going to just take it and then you're going to have to move it again. Okay. That's a little more clever now. Because you are threatening both this and this. It is still defendable. Like, you can still bring the piece back and then the rook can escape. And the pawn is defended and the queen can't see the rook, and the king holds everything together, but if after this move it just all falls apart because that knight is going to fall. So you see the dilemma here. We've left the queen to just sort of do the dirty work. I mean, they've done a good job of it. My recommendation to white is don't try and just play an attack with just your queen. Sometimes, actually, when I was a little lower rated, sometimes I would just go and just sack my queen because if another player was playing well, just because I know a lot of players don't know how to win a game of chess without their queen. So play with some more pieces there. And quite honestly, their position would just fall apart because they'd just be like, I don't really understand how to make these pieces coordinate. Okay, so black does find the defense and white does find the attack. So now, what do we do? What do we do? This would have been nice if this pawn was not defending it, because you could do something like this, where if that, then that, except that you'd be in check, so that does not work. At this point, you gotta just choose what pieces you're gonna lose. Try and make the best of the situation. So, if you're gonna come in with check, and you have to move, this would be checkmate, so you would have to move here. You could do this to defend that way. Just giving up your rook. So you went to defend before. I don't know if maybe that's why, like back here, I don't know if black saw that this rook was under threat and they just moved it because that was the only safe place for the knight. Could have been. But you gotta watch for those pins. Yeah. Good move on White's part. Honestly, just like good execution. Okay, you can take en passant. Okay. So the threat here is to capture, deliver a check, and just pick up that, not the pawn, the knight. I'm not great at drawing arrows, guys. Like, I'm not an artist. My wife is an artist. I can't color between the lines. Okay, trying to make some plans for counterplay, but you're gonna lose your knight, so that's really unfortunate. Yeah. Okay, well, you got your rook out, so maybe you'll be playing with a few more pieces, and who knows, you were able to pick up a blundered bishop on white's end, so... Okay, what do we have? Bringing the white to a very dangerous square. Yep, that is dangerous. Like, if the queen can get here defended, that is checkmate. So, maybe something like this. Heck, you don't even need to. You just do that and then this, and it's just checkmate. Yep. Because knight covers, pawn covers this way, that way, pawn, queen, and blocked by this. So every single square is going to be blocked if you do that. Yes. Yeah. So you see that there's a trap coming in, and you want to force the king out. It's good. But if you do this, what is his defense? What does he have? He doesn't have a whole lot of anything. Really, he could do that, in which case, you know what, you capture with check, and then you bring in the queen, and that might even, yeah, that'll lead to a mate after he has here, so he would have to move back here or here. Yeah, it's likely to lead to a mate. So personally, you see a good move, look for a better one, or look for a way to make that move just like a better move for you. Because it's a good move. I mean, oh, sorry, where were we? Yes, okay. So it's a good move, but there's gonna be good ones. Like, I mean, you see this, they might, I don't know what, honestly, the only option they really have would be something like that. Okay, but we have this. You know what, let's see what engine thinks here. Let's see if, okay, we have this. Engine says, yeah, plus 15. Says they gotta basically just GTFO. So, Yeah, and it likes that as the best move. Okay, so we have this. Okay. See, now therein is the question. So I mean, you can try and walk your queen around one way or another. This might not be bad. I would even just after that long castle, I would even be just honestly tempted to long castle right now and just like say, oh, I'm gonna beat you anyway. Okay. Yeah, see, now he's sort of almost making things kind of fortressy. So I mean, you gotta start looking at different ways you can attack the king here, or the weak pieces. I mean, these are just sort of off in the corner, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. But I mean, just you've got moves like this. You've got moves like this. You want to defend that? Bring this in. See what I'm saying? You also have this. And this also has the convenience of preventing the rook from coming in because he would capture it, so it would not be able to defend this angle. Okay, he's gonna take that. No, good job. So if he had taken that, that would have been very dangerous. Obviously, the rook would come in, he'd be forced back, and there'd be just another piece to attack and destroy. So good move on Black's part. Recognizing that you don't always want to just take pieces. Right now, you need to just cocoon. Okay. I mean, castle would have been better. Just, why not? It's more elegant. Okay. Oh. You guys are gonna like this. Okay, we're gonna leave this as a puzzle. I'm gonna pause this right here. See if you guys can find the mate. It's pretty beautiful. I mean, there's a good try from Black, but... And unpause the video, here we go. Covered by the queen, defended by the knight, can't be captured because pinned. Nice finish. Nice finish. So, let's see. Black... Honestly, if I were going to give you one piece of advice, I'd say don't take your queen out so early. I know you're like, want to target the piece, but there's other ways to do that. And to be quite honest, like, this is white moving their queen perhaps a little on the early end. Like, it's not venturing out very far. So take it as concession. Honestly, just take that as concession and play from there. Like, the thing is just because this is the first piece out does not mean that you want to just spend all of your resources trying to just deal with that. Because if they'd taken their knight out, would the first thing be to try and get your bishop out to pin it and then take all of your pieces to come for that? No. You gotta recognize that this is not hurting anyone. I mean, this would not be the greatest for you, but you just castle this way and then you've got an open file. It actually kind of helps you. So, and you are keeping an eye on this bishop. In fact, this queen now can't move anywhere because it's busy defending this bishop. So, just go along happily. Take a knight out. Do something crazy. Certainly, don't move the queen early. And, yeah, that's quite a bold move. When you do something like that, when you cut off your own means of escape, start looking for how many moves you have left and what moves they have to attack you, because there's gonna be trapped queens all over the place with that. It's a really beautiful trap though. Kudos to White for that. Yeah. There. Just get out. Just get out. Yeah. Great game. As always, I'm gonna send this to the players and hopefully they can learn something. And please subscribe to me. It helps me. And send me games that you find are really fun or creative. Great game. Have a good night, guys.